Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about how being online and being on the internet kind of sucks sometimes, and how I recently have just wanted to disconnect from it all. Being online is increasingly just not very pleasant. The internet is really frustrating sometimes, and like I said, I've been trying to disconnect from it and really avoid it and just be more present. One thing is that it's obviously bad for you. You go on your phone just to check something, and then all of a sudden you've been scrolling for 5 minutes or longer. So that's annoying, and that's obviously bad. But another thing is for gaming in particular. Being on the internet, hearing about games, and having this collection of digital games can be a hassle. It can be stressful sometimes. You hear people talk about, new games that are coming out. You hear about all these amazing games that you have to play, but you already have a huge library of digital games that you want to get to. And then you start crunching the numbers, trying to optimize your gaming experience and stuff like that. It is, like I said, it's a hassle, it's stressful. So that's one thing that I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to, for one thing, avoid online discussions about games. And also, well, I guess that ties into this, but I'm just trying to be more intentional about what I play. I don't want to get into the whole optimizing thing and the whole backlog idea. And I think I'm doing pretty good on that, but it is difficult sometimes with all these games that you want to play. You want to just get through all of them as fast as possible. And I think that's entirely the wrong mindset to have. And I think we know this, but we just think like that anyway. You just automatically get into that without trying to. So that's something that I'm trying to avoid. I just want to, again, be more intentional and think about what I want to play right now instead of what would be the best or the most efficient. There's a YouTuber called BBK Dragoon who makes videos about stuff like this. Sorry if I sounded very similar to him right there. I watched one of his videos and I thought it was pretty relatable, and I thought it resonated with how I was feeling, and I kind of shared some thoughts with him, so what I'm talking about probably sounds similar to what he does. But yeah, being on the internet can make gaming seem like a chore. And also another thing I wanted to talk about, I mentioned specifically the digital games, and that's because I feel like physical games just feel different. It just feels more personal and exciting, and maybe this is just nonsense, but I feel like if you're looking at a library of games online, that can make it feel like a list of things to get through, but if you have the physical game in front of you, that can make you more connected to it, and it can make you actually want to play it, and you'll see it as an actual game or as an experience rather than, like I said, just something to get through or just part of a list on a screen. I don't know, maybe that makes a difference, maybe it doesn't. And I also like having a physical version of my favorite games, just in general. I like being able to see it in real life and being able to have it somewhere. And also digital games might get taken down, you never know, but that's a completely different topic. Another thing is music. Now, I don't know if any of you are really into music, or not necessarily just that, but specifically if you read about music online and you see stuff about music on the internet. If you're not, then you are honestly really lucky, because it is truly awful. People just take stuff way too seriously. They get in arguments over which artist or which album is better. They insult you if you like something. It's really bad. I don't even think about it that much. Or at least I try not to care, but it is really frustrating. Specifically, and sorry if I'm ranting, but I hate the word music nerd. You can't even like stuff that's highly rated without being called a music nerd, and it actually pisses me off. So I heard this album called Brat, right? I heard about it last year. I heard it was popular, and I'm trying to expand my music taste, so I give it a listen. I absolutely loved it. I listened to it 20 times in 5 days. I'm not joking. I think it's my favorite album of all time. And out of curiosity, I decided to check what other people think about it. I already had my mind made up, but I just wanted to know what the consensus about it was. It turns out Fantano gave it a 10 out of 10, so that's pretty cool, but A few days later, this video pops up in my recommended called The Types of Music Fans, and the thumbnail has a picture of Brat with the text Music Nerd and a picture of Mr. Fantano. And thinking back, maybe it was a little irrational to get so angry at that because, that's not me, right? Maybe there are some people that only get their opinions from, how well things are rated, but like I said, I didn't even know it was highly rated like that when I listened to it. But you can't even like stuff that has good ratings without being called a nerd or without people saying you just get your opinions from Rate Your Music. And that is pretty frustrating for people who genuinely like stuff that's highly rated. So there's that, and there's also, like I said earlier, there's people arguing about music like it's the most important thing ever. It's just really frustrating. So yeah, being on the internet is not very pleasant nowadays. And I've been trying to disconnect and be more present and honest and be more connected to myself, if that makes sense. Just be more in tune with my feelings instead of always seeing others. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, a like or subscribe would be appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.